IRXJam 17 Showcase number 3, first of the weekend. And the first game from the jam, I think, was 24 entries with the theme Free Will. Winner gets several prizes. And we'll announce that. We'll debate it. We have our favorites, but we'll debate it tonight along with the rest of the awards, and we'll announce it tomorrow during the award ceremony. The first game we're going to be talking about is Kill or Save. I also want to point out that Kill or Save is what it's titled on IRXJam, but they said Save or Kill in the game. But you get the idea. It is by Alien Core.
Save or Kill.
Kill or Save, Save or Kill. It is by Alien Core, again for IRXJam 17 with the theme Free Will. So the point of Free Will here is that you have the choice to kill or save. I think this was...
No, you don't.
Well, I mean, that was...
Anyway. That's the initial idea behind it, but I have not been able to
it's a hard game, by the way.
complete this. It really
It's
is
hard.
If you take the save path, you go nowhere. You have to go down the kill path. Like, it forces you. So clearly removing any element of free will. And then I have never gotten to the screen that's currently being shown as I'm talking about this. The multi one. The second room with the flies. That's as far as I've ever gotten.
You couldn't get past the flies?
I couldn't get past the second room of flies.
And it seems to have a little bit of a Binding of Isaac inspiration to it. But with, I want to say deeper commentary, but I mean, honestly, there's a lot of religious commentary in Binding of Isaac. But
That's true.
Anyway, this game, I think, has a lot of potential for growth as far as... As far as the games in the jam go.
Yeah, I think that this concept, like, as it stands now, it's pretty straightforward. But I think the idea of laying out your choices so kind of plainly has a lot of potential. I mean, you literally start and you have a path that says kill and a path that says save. I love the idea of playing a game where you presented with forks in the road.
We just talked about this, by the way, during the panel.
Right.
The illusion of
forks
choice.
in the road, and you don't even really necessarily have a context for what you're choosing, and then see how that plays out. I think that it's a really cool concept.
Now let me ask you a question. I mean, obviously, the idea behind the save path not giving you a choice is part of the thought process. But if you were to develop this game farther, or further, oh God, the door's gonna slam. No, hold on a second. It's gonna be very loud. I kicked some clothes in front of it that I had. We have like suction that goes through because our windows are open because it's fucking hot.
Right.
And then the door like will slam super loud. So I'll fix it later. Anyway, the question was, if you were to develop this further, would you create, like, you could stick with the same idea of save not really being an option, but at the same time still allow them to go farther?
Well, here's the thing. It didn't show up in the gameplay video that we showed there. But you can't progress without defeating the enemies. Every screen that you're on, that's it. You're there until you've completed the challenge. So I don't know that allowing a truly branching methodology fits in with that, because you literally mechanically don't have the option to save.
If you if you look at the description of the game, though, it's not about killing the enemies or not.
Right.
Though. It's about the end goal. I believe it's you're either killing or saving the princess. And that's really like stock standard, old-timey video game, do you save the princess, do you kill the princess?
Right.
But the idea of having these large overarching choices just super clear, like take the left path to do this, take the right path. It feels kind of surreal, like almost like Alice in Wonderland-y to me, and I really dig that that vibe. So I think there's a lot of potential to this. I think it has a lot of potential.
All right. Well, you know what else has a lot of potential?
Alien Core has joined us into chat, and says could make a better trailer. I think it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking Game Jam.
Yeah, when you're talking about a 48-hour game, Game Jam game, it's I realize that there's not a whole lot of, generally speaking, not a whole lot of gameplay to record, so no problem. All right, so again, if you have questions about that particular Game Jam game, Alien Core is in the chat. Feel free to ask. But next, we're going to be talking about another Game Jam game called Deity. All right, and as this plays, I'm going to, because there's not a whole lot of audio, it's just the sound effects there. But anyway, as that plays, that is Deity by Forged Experience. The idea of free will coming from the fact that it's not really killing, but as you basically hit and drop the enemies down, they become your mind slaves, I guess you could say. So you could use them to distract the suicide bombers, or let me back that up there, or to if you die, you then become one of them is sacrificed so you can live again, that sort of thing. It's an interesting concept, and mind you, this gameplay footage is sped up. I'm not sure why, but it is sped up. You don't fire that fast or move that fast because it kind of looks chaotic.
But it does serve a good idea as to what they were going for. Since this, it looks like they've updated it with music as well. You can play that at Forged Experience Edgio.
Some of these games have been updated since the jam was over. They don't get judged based off the updates because the whole point is to give 48 hours.
Right.
But they do get
what I really liked about it is you can definitely see what they were going for, and it was one of those things that it was a struggle for me because I wasn't really cognizant of what each power could do, but I had a ton of fun with it, and basically you're pulling. Your powers that you're using are ripping the free will from them, and you're becoming their god, their deity.
Right, and I think I think it needs again, anything that sounds like a critique, understood that it's 48 hours, but I think it
Yep.
could
Right.
use some like balancing. Like some of the powers, like I was using that electric power and it was just destroying everything. So I was like, okay, well, and you know, even if I would die, because I was going fast through it, even if I would die, I had so many, you know, minions at that point that I would just live forever because I would just collect more and more. But that's something
My biggest
to worry about as it develops.
Yeah, of course. And kind of the biggest issue I had with this was the sense of pacing isn't really there. I mean, you're just kind of dropped into it and you go, and like you said, it really ramps up. You have like certain abilities that just let you rip through things. You can just build up a big enough cohort of minions that it's not even an issue. Kind of smoothing that trend out, I think, would make things flow a lot better, make it a little, give you a chance to really kind of understand what's going on.
Right.
That, at least from my playthrough of it, that's kind of what my takeaway was.
All right. So the next game on the list is called Assembly by Athera, I think is how you pronounce that. Unfortunately, Assembly's gameplay video was taken down or something from YouTube for whatever reason, so they don't have it. But that's the logo that's on the Game Jam page, and you can obviously go play it for yourself. It's free. So I would highly suggest to do it. Assembly was actually a pretty cool concept. Basically, you're this, I believe, a robot is what I gathered, inside of a factory, and it's kind of a puzzle platformer where you have to get over boxes. You can double jump in the air, which I figured out later than I should have.
Way
probably.
too late.
I was like, I got to like the second screen. I was like, why the fuck can't I get over these boxes? And then I was like, oh, like 5 minutes later. And there's some like moving parts you have to jump to and from, that sort of thing. So some timing involved with the puzzles. So it's pretty good. It had like some like where you had to move blocks on the switches. It had that kind of mechanic to it. Pretty good game with a lot of potential, I think, if it were to be fleshed out. What do you guys think of it?
Pretty much the same. I think it's got a really solid base, good platforming. I liked the kind of interplay with the topic of free will and kind of putting that against
As
like
a robot, yeah.
Yeah, the whole like idea of machines and the lack of free will, if you will. I thought that was kind of cool. Way to take the topic.
Yeah, it was evocative for me of the fall.
Yeah, okay.
That in terms of what was happening and why. Obviously, it wasn't a direct correlation, but it definitely had that same feel for me. I couldn't get past that first helicopter. I'll be honest, I mistimed, and I'm really bad for whatever reason. Yeah, no, I'm just really bad. But I couldn't get it to play again after that. So again, my gaming ability is my game cred is dropping. I can tell, but no, I really liked its potential. My biggest complaint about it was just so dark, and I don't mean like the theme was dark. I mean it was so dark I could not tell where I was at. And the only reason I found out that the double jump was possible was because I was trying to find where I was at, looking for movement in the shading, and couldn't determine that. So I'm just hammering the jump button, and it just happened to move over a box. I was like, I was
gonna say that earlier. Like, I like the aesthetic, but it could use a little bit more lighting, and
a little bit of contrast.
It's okay to have those shadow areas, but don't start it off dark. And I will say, I think, because when you first start off, there's like these blue sparks that are illuminating. It's just not illuminating the right place. So you're still in shadow, and you're like, where's my character? And then you kind of like faintly see the outline, and then you move it, and okay, there it is. So I think, more contrast in the lighting would have been useful, but overall gameplay was solid.
Yeah, it was super well done, and I would love to see more. And I guess a lot of the reason why they did this and joined it was to deal with the or get some experience in the Unreal Engine. and
which is awesome, because even if you're not there, even if you're like, okay, well, I don't really know what I'm doing with this particular engine, so I'm probably not going to win, which isn't the case necessarily, but
right.
It's always a good, just to encourage people to join game jams like IRXJam or any other. It's a way to grow as a developer. And
Remember, my number one feedback to anybody that's in development, and take it with a grain of salt, because I'm not a developer myself, but it's similar in my field, is fail faster. It doesn't matter that it's not the most perfect. It's not the
that can be IGR's
best, right? Fail faster, because the faster you fail, the faster you can iterate, and the faster that you do that, the faster you reach that goal of your good game. And this
Super
is
good advice.
Yeah, and this is a fantastic example of we're nitpicking on this. We're being critical, but it's a critical from love, because it was really well done. And these are just little things that for the future, keep in mind. We need to be able to see our character. That sort of thing.
Well, you know what else we're going to see in just a minute?
The next jam game.
Yeah, True Hackie Premium by Intech. That is next.
Is it premium or freedom?
True Hackie Premium is what the YouTube video says.
Oh.
Maybe they changed the name. But anyway, that's what it says. Here we go. I don't think there's any audio to this one, so we can talk over it. So I'll let you guys start. What? Hey, someone put my name in there. I just.
Oh, did you not?
No, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he's hacking you, and he's hacking Indie Game Riot.
Awesome. Wow, I didn't even see that. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so go. Yeah.
I love games that use this kind of mechanic of scripting, and maybe that's because I'm just kind of like a hobby scripter, but I absolutely just think it's the coolest thing ever, quite frankly. One of my top games from the last couple of years is of course now I mind fart on it. Yeah, right. Duskers, which you control everything through a kind of sort of command line. So love it. Absolutely love it.
It was for me. It's it immediately, as soon as I loaded it up, I was like, I
knew you were going to resonate.
This reminds me. I don't know if you've ever been to Hacker Typer before. Hacker Typer. Fucker, damn it! You know what? I'm gonna put the link in chat. But it's one of those things. I came across it. I had a boss once that was like, "Hey, we've got clients that are coming on site. We want you to look like you're doing something other than what you normally do." And he's like, try and make it look like you're doing something busy. So I found Hacker Typer, and if you go there and
this is great. I'm gonna have to remember this for work.
Right? No, it's so great. And you can change the visual acuity on it, like you can change the coding on it. And it just it looks like you're coding the entire time. And this totally reminded me of that. And I was like, I love that they were able to put this together. Not only did they put it together and have it functional, but they also did it in such a way that it clearly made fun of IGR and Josh, because I mean Josh has a bitch password, so clearly somebody's able to hack him, and it was just great. I really enjoyed the humor behind it, and
my password is password. So,
but he leadified it so that A is a 4. But yeah, no, it was definitely a lot of fun. The fact that you can then create your own, that was the part that I would say makes this shine over just having the original. You can then create your own config and, you know, point it at your text file, and like you're seeing on the screen, and go ahead and do your own. It's just a lot of fun and kind of gives you an idea as to how you know, you could implement code. Now I'm not a coder, so, you know, my dialogue would be like, "Yay, you did it," because I'm bad. Exactly. Hacking for dummies. Press 1 to win.
That's
but I liked it. I like that they added the interactivity of being able to create your own.
Sorry, I said that's gross because like there's like one of those I get random thumbnails that are really gross because I was on my mom's laptop and I logged into my Google and left it logged in on accident. So she started watching videos of gross like medical stuff, and now I get like suggestions and it's gross. Anyway, so as far as like the theme goes for True Hackie Premium. How do you connect it to free will?
Jacob, do you have an answer? Because mine can go in for a little while.
Go for it.
Okay.
I'm interested to hear somebody else's thoughts.
So for me, the idea, and I kind of come from the old school IT realm. I'm very Mitnick. Or early Mitnick esque in my belief that information should be free and available to the public, and hacking is kind of one of those ways to make that available. You know, and I struggle with that at an ethical level because I do believe that information is free and should be available. But at the same time, I do also believe that there is information that should not be made available to the public, and having the gameplay aspect of I'm literally taking over your online persona. You know, in this case, in the original, we're hacking Indie Game Riot as a website, and we're taking that over and saying, hey, this now belongs to the public. That for me, that kind of expressed that freedom of choice. I believe that it should be free, therefore I'm going to make it free and available. Yeah, it was kind of one of those. For me, it was more of that deeper resonance. How about you? Did you guys get anything out of free will out of that one? Other than the fact that, you know, you do have the free will to make your own and whatnot.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not so deep. It's basically that's what I got is like free will to do what you want as a hacker. You know, free will to hack into, you know, anyone's life, that sort of thing. That's
yeah. That's pretty much where I came at it from.
Okay.
And seeing how it had attacked the free will concept.
Well, you know what we have the free will to do?
Go home and sleep. No, I'm kidding. Josh is like,
God, how many more hours? We can't sleep yet.